This time on distant shores, we're leaving the Bahamas using the Gulf Stream to make speed northbound. We're Paul and Cheryl Shard, and we've been filming and making television programs for 30 years now. This is our last sail on the amazing Bahamas shallow banks as we're preparing for the passage north to Beaufort and the Chesapeake Bay. For the first time, we're going to sail right up the Gulf Stream and hope to use the current to add to our speed.
As we leave the northern Bahamas from Marsh Harbor, we're in very light winds from the south, and for the first evening, we're motor sailing.
There it is! Oh, woohoo! That was a green flash. When you get a really nice clear sunset, the last little bit of sun as it sinks into the water, there's a refraction of light and it just goes green. In a flash.
Never seen a green flash before. I don't think I've seen a sunset like this before. Yeah. This is just amazing.
We're joined by Sail Away Week guests Noel and Tracy, who are building their offshore skills sailing this passage.
Last night our steaming light stopped working, so we're using this as a temporary makeshift. When you're under power and we have so little wind here, we're motor sailing, or motoring at this point. So when you're under power, you have to display an all-around white light over top of your navigation lights. So we can't use the tricolor because we can't get this above it. Steaming light's not working, so we're using this instead, and that makes us display the correct lights. Okay, so tonight we are heading along in the Gulf Stream. Our planned course up the coast of the US, we're just past Cape Canaveral, and we're heading along the Florida coast, about 70 miles offshore, and then we'll be turning to the east and heading northeast up toward Cape Hatteras. And this is giving us a chance to get in a bit of a lift from the Gulf Stream. So we've been looking forward to this passage because this is the first time we've ever been able to do the passage with the benefit of knowing exactly where the Gulf Stream is. So I've got my phone plugged in here, and I downloaded using the Iridium the Gulf Stream maps that you can get with PredictWind, so that's really cool. This is watching the animation on that, and it shows us where the Gulf Stream is. And the difference here is you're able to get like over 3 knots. We've got, right now we're doing 10.3. We've got light winds and we're motoring at 5.5, 6 knots, maybe 6 and a bit, and we're doing 10.3. So we got 4 knots over the ground from the Gulf Stream. So the Gulf Stream isn't that wide, and if you didn't know where it was, you could blunder out of it and maybe not be sure which side you're exiting or what mistake you've made, where you should go. So the Gulf
all the way in.
You say so. It's huge.
That is a fish.
So how heavy do you think he is, guys?
Right on my head.
So
25 pounds.
Certainly a heavy backpack.
Like Cheryl's backpack, yeah.
Well, not as heavy as Cheryl. Okay, it's blowing a fair bit tonight. We got 20-25 knots of wind, which goes higher gusts. But the plus is with the Gulf Stream current, we're actually moving along at 11 knots altogether, so we're only feeling apparent wind from astern of about 15 knots. Making tons of progress. We're doing 240 miles in a day. Unbelievable. Here we're doing 7 knots, but we're making 11 with the current, so that's just fantastic. 11 knots. We're going to average 240 miles today. That blows away our previous record of just about 200. So that's just over the ground, of course, because of this fantastic current. And I'll just show you the animation of where we have got right now. And the trick here is to stay in the middle of the current to get the most speed out of it. And because the wind is behind it, of course, the Gulf Stream isn't any rougher than any other piece of water. As far as I can tell, we get occasional lurches, but otherwise it's pretty good. And let's take a look at the map. We got this out of the Predict Wind program, and there's various different models of ocean current predictions. This one is a HiCom model, which I found was the smallest to download it, so we were able to download the latest prediction of where the currents are. This was about 130 kilobytes, and it took about 15 minutes to download. It shows us right along in the center, and anywhere in the strong region we're going to be able to keep that decent speed, and then we're going to cut over around Cape Hatteras a little later. The Gulf Stream is like a river in the ocean, but its course meanders and changes with the influence of the winds, and also gets stronger and weaker with winds and waves against it. There are various models to predict the position of the stream, and having access to this information while at sea can have a big effect on your passage comfort and safety.
That without my love for the ocean, I will be no
With the apparent wind now up above 15 knots, we've reefed our large Genoa, to the left of the screen, down to the size of the smaller one, and we're still flying along around 8 knots, plus the current. As we get closer to Beaufort and Cape Lookout, the weather is forecast to build, so we make the decision to pull in. With higher winds, the Gulf Stream is starting to get more rolly. Even though the wind is not against the stream, it's still bouncier than we might expect in similar conditions. If you are going to be sailing along the east coast of the USA, Cape Lookout is an important waypoint. A dangerous shoal stretches 10 miles out to sea with shifting sands, so you need to keep well offshore, or head into Beaufort, with its sea entrance that's easy in most weather. If your mast is less than 64 feet, you can proceed in the protection of the Intracoastal Waterway and skip both capes, but ours is too tall at 71 feet. We pull in and spend a relaxing 3 days meeting up with fans of our television show and waiting for the weather to calm for our passage around the capes and onto the Chesapeake Bay. Okay, we've got a fairly tight slip to get out of. Current runs up and down in here. We have to go out that inlet there. So the current will push us down onto that dock. We also have a pretty reasonable breeze which comes and goes. And it's just the two of us on board to deal with the lines. So we got to untie on the dock here, and then we're going to back out. Our prop walk is going to take us this way because that's what our prop does, pull us to port. So when we're running in astern, the prop will pull us to port, hopefully pull us into that area over there, and then we should be able to turn, and the current would be starting to push us and actually help us to make the turn. Just hopefully we don't get blown around too much first. So we're going to bring all the lines back to start with, so that right now you can see all the lines are tied up onto the dock, but we don't want that. We want the lines to be coming back on board so that we can let them off while we're standing on the boat and don't have to jump on because we don't have anyone helping. So get ready to do that. We have to be sure over here we've got, we're close to some big old pilings that look like they could hurt our life raft, so we better make sure we don't crash into that. Otherwise, we should be good to go. Okay, so we've brought both these lines back on board. So we have the stern line shortened up, the bow line. We've removed the 2 springs, and we're gonna be able to back out using the prop walk into the corner. We just have to beware of the bow, so Cheryl's on that, and I'll be at the helm. Okay, lines are cast off. Okay, ready, Cheryl?
Ready?
Letting it off?
Yep.
The prop walk is keeping us a little bit, but the breeze is fighting the breeze. So. We know our prop walk will pull our stern to port, setting us up to exit this slip. Plus, the current on our nose will make the turn easier. We're just being pulled over by the prop walk. Good to go. There's so many different docking situations you might find yourself in. We just find the best thing is to be as flexible as possible and ready to react to whatever different situations happen. And it doesn't hurt to get a little help if there's someone else on the dock who might let go a line for you. That can be handy too, but we like to try to do it on our own if we can. And practice is definitely worth it.
Check out some of our other how-to videos for more docking and anchoring tips. And please subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time as we continue our voyage north to the Chesapeake Bay. We also invite you to check out the Distant Shores Cruising Club. Membership benefits include sailing opportunities, live chats, and meetups, as well as additional resources for anyone dreaming of sailing away.